Our approach every week is remember to just break it down into something manageable so that it doesn't feel so overwhelming and foreign. Today, we're going to be concentrating on your website, your public-facing website. That is just another component of your kvCore account. If you've been with us the last couple of weeks when we got started, we've already addressed how to activate your kvCore account. And then last week, we really spent a lot of time talking about how to build out your profile, adding your picture, your bio, linking your social media platforms into your website. So if you need to get caught up, that recording is available on our YouTube channel, and I can stick that in the chat or make it available through your team leader. So if you have any question or can't find that YouTube link, just go to your team leader. They'll be able to provide it to you. Okay. Today, what we're going to concentrate on in our hour of kvCore is your public-facing website. So I'm showing you on the screen right now what my public-facing website through kvCore looks like at the moment. There are things that you can do to change the look of your website and even build out the functionality of your website that I would consider pretty elementary. And those are the things that we're going to cover today. I'm not looking to make you an expert in code, and I'm not looking to intimidate you with having to build out a website. These are just manageable ideas that if you wanted your website to be robust in a lot of different ways, recognize that you have control to do that. You have the ability to do that. And if you just spend a little bit of time and effort and maybe utilize this training, it won't cost you any money to bring a professional in to help you either. Okay. So let's take a look at some of the general things that are happening with the website so that when you go back and look at your website, you can make some comparisons and decide, again, what things you want to employ or involve in your site. The first thing that I'll mention is you see up in the top right-hand corner of my site, I have these little icons for social media. That's because I did the things that we talked about last week in my profile. Once those links were added in my profile, these links then appeared on my website. Okay. You'll always have the branding for the brokerage. We'll talk a little bit more about that too on the back end. When you look at your homepage, so in everybody's case, it's going to be your name. So for me, DeannaFayeBrown.exprealty.com. So, for example, Gail, you're here today, GailPlaza.exprealty.com. Okay. If you're not sure of your public-facing website domain, if you just log into kvCore, go up in the top right-hand corner to your name, click on the drop-down and look for the little World Wide Web icon. If you click on that, it will take you to your website domain and it will open your homepage like this. My name will automatically appear from the account that was created on my behalf. My picture will pull in from my profile. Again, something we did last week. Also, my tagline, team leader and the team name, again, pulling from my profile. Okay. We have certain buttons, if you will, along the top right. Every agent typically is going to start with 4 buttons. You're going to have search, you're going to have sell, you're going to have more, and you're going to have resources. Finance, and then in my case, I have Discover Burlington County. I'm going to go through those. Those are things that I added. I had to sort of turn on that functionality. So let's just take a minute to explain what each of these is. Search. It's exactly what you would expect. When someone clicks on the search button, they're going to perform a home search, okay, within EXP's portal, linking to the IDX feed from whatever your primary MLS is, or if you're feeding multiple MLSs into your website, into your kvCore account, then it will pull in here for search results, okay, so that's search. The next one was sell. Now here, if you're trying to direct home seller traffic and are using your website, here you have the ability to have somebody enter their address, click next, add 1 or 2 other pieces of information, and they'll get an Autobot generated home analysis, and their contact information will automatically come into your kvCore. Okay. If you wanted to leverage this rather than your homepage link, you can take this URL up at the top and drop that into an email. You can drop that into a social media post. You can drop it onto a postcard or stick it in a text message. If you were trying to attract sellers, this is a great tool that's available to every agent through your website. Okay. The next button that everybody has is the More button. That's where your agent profile will pull. That's going to, again, draw from your profile on the back end. If you loaded your bio, like we talked about last week, your bio will appear here on your agent profile. You also have the ability to link directly to testimonials and a blog. And I'll show you where you can go today if you wanted to actually leverage testimonials and blog resources to build out your site. Okay. Resources is going to be a general tab. Nothing really sort of exciting or sexy there necessarily. But then the other two tabs are finance. And then you'll see that I have a section called Discover Burlington County. Let's talk about both of these for a second. Finance is a tab that only gets turned on if you identify a lender partner for your site and you check the box that says, show this lender partner on my site. Okay. Two things happen when you select a lender partner. First, you have the ability to give them visibility on your website. And then second, you have the ability to share leads with them. And you can either do that automatically or on a manual basis if you want to choose, pick and choose what leads you share with your lending partner. Let's talk about how that works for a minute. In this case, if I click on finance, let me show you what the consumer's experience would be if they clicked on finance to see my lending partner. Okay. If you have a lending partner that you work with, they're going to come to a page that highlights just the lending partner. So there'll be a picture. And again, you want your lending partner to provide all this information so it's this robust, but they'll have their background information, their bio, and then the ability to connect with them through email. Okay, so a consumer can connect directly with your lending partner that you've identified right from your website. To be able to set this up, I just want to show you, if we go back to the profile. So here you are logged into kvCore. Go to your name in the top right-hand corner and go to your profile. This is where we spent a lot of time last week. The one thing we sort of just maybe briefly mentioned, but didn't go into detail on, if you click on Edit Profile and you scroll down, you'll see this section for lender. Okay. This is where you can tap into the database of approved lenders to choose from. If your preferred lending partner is not in the list, it's very easy to add them to the list with EXP's permission. There's a form that just has to be filled out. Very important. The agent, not the lending partner, the agent will fill out this form and request that the lending partner be added. Once EXP approves them, then the lending partner gets an invitation to activate their profile. Like I said, upload their picture, just like we saw, upload their bio, include their website link, their email address, so that somebody could reach out to them directly. Okay. So you identify your lending partner here and you click on this box to make sure that they show on your website. And then always, anytime you do anything with your profile, just make sure you hit the save button. I'm just going to go ahead and cancel because I didn't make any changes. If you don't necessarily have a lending partner or want to see the lending partners that are already loaded that you could possibly select right away, while you're here in the profile, just go up to the top and click on lenders. And you'll be able to look at the full list of approved lenders for our region. You can search and filter, or you can just scroll through the list. I never recommend that you just randomly choose somebody without letting them know that you've chosen them. This is about working in partnership. So you do want there to be, sort of conversation around this. But you may find that you could luck out and your preferred partner is already here and make your life a little bit easier. If not, the process to add them is not hard. Ultimately, the goal, if you're trying to make your website as robust and resourceful to the consumer as possible, I think adding a lender partner and getting this finance button to appear on your site is super useful and smart. If you don't choose a lending partner, you won't have a finance tab. So if you're doing this for the first time and don't see finance, that's why, because you haven't, tapped somebody on the back. The other thing that I want to mention, which we're going to talk about in detail kind of at the end of our hour, is this area over here where I have labeled Discover Burlington County. In addition to these first 5 tabs, search, sell, finance, the more tab, and the resources tab, you have the ability to create 2 more tabs, 2 more drop downs. And then within those drop downs, each one can have an unlimited number of what are called custom pages. Now, for me, I primarily, I'm in Burlington County. So my example of an additional drop down, I chose to highlight Burlington County. And then in my custom pages, just to show you as an example, I created, 10 or so different custom links to the different towns in Burlington County. So for example, if I click on Discover Marlton, what I did in my custom pages is I created links that will take the consumer to any of the local municipalities in Burlington County. Okay. Now notice the way it's set up is I still have my homepage open. When it redirects a consumer to one of those links, it opens a new tab in my web browser. Okay. So this is just one idea. And like I said, I will show you how to do this, how to create a basic set of custom pages like this one for your site. But once you get comfortable and you play around with it a little bit, you can really do a lot of cool things with those 2 additional drop-down slots. You can create a whole list of buyer resources, a whole list of seller resources. If you work in a particular niche market like luxury, military, relocation, bank-owned, if you maybe you speak another language and want to provide a number of resources in that other language, there's a lot that you can do with those 2 additional slots to build out your website, get more value to the consumer, and also help the consumer to even fully understand your value proposition and sort of your focus in your business. Okay. So that's sort of the homepage. Everybody, you have this search bar right here on the homepage, or you can go to that search map that I showed you up at the top. And then you'll see, just in terms of look and feel, again, we're not going to talk about code. We're not going to get crazy here, but I'm going to show you that there are multiple options for your website layout that you can easily change through. So if you like this look or would prefer something a little bit different, there are options. You also have the ability to pull in testimonials, which I think is tremendous and essential to building out your website. I'm going to show you how to do that on the back end. The next part of the homepage is going to show what are called carousels. In my case, I've selected specifically to first show open houses, then show new listings, and then show price reductions. Okay. You can choose which categories you want to show and in what order in these 3 carousels. We'll go over that. And this is all really easy, I promise. Your bio, remember, if you did it on your profile, it's going to feed through here on your homepage. And then you have the ability to do some blog posts. I put one here because I wanted to show you the example. The important thing is if you're going to do blog posts, be consistent with it, do it regularly to give you the greatest traction with your website. Okay. And then the last thing here, areas that you cover. I'm going to show you where you can go in and pinpoint on a map specific locations that you cover. This is great in terms of you being visible to the public, also by helping if you're trying to work with referrals, by being, helping other agents understand what areas you cover. This will have a big impact. You are very smart to go in and select towns as opposed to leaving this blank. Okay. And we can go over how to do that as well. So let's take a look at where we can make some of these decisions. We looked from our profile, how you can add the lender feature. So again, just as a reminder, go click on your name, my profile, And then under the contact information, you would simply edit it, identify your lender partner from the list. And again, super important, make sure that this box is checked, because if it's not, they will not appear on the finance tab on your site. Okay. For all of these other things that we're talking about, all these other features and functions, you're going to spend time in the web and IDX section of your kvCore dashboard. Okay, so on the left-hand side, go to web and IDX, and then you can go to website manager. Okay, some of this information that you see here is going to pull from your profile. So my profile picture, my cell phone, my email address are all pulling in from my profile. Where I want to spend time from here first is on settings. If you go up to this top right-hand corner where it says website settings, click on the blue letters to manage my website settings. And you'll see that there are a few different options where we can go and tweak, change, modify to get the look and feel of the site that we want. First things first, you have the ability, just like I was showing you those tiles and that layout up at the top. See how my tiles, where I have a descriptive tile with a clickable item, and the offset to that is an image that sort of goes along with that title. You have the ability to change through these 4 different preset themes, if you will, that kvCore has worked. Now, I'll tell you from where we were when I did this training the first time, over 2 years ago, this has really improved in this area. What's cool is that you can choose any one of these. So let's say if I hover over it, I get a sense of the layout. Okay, let's say champion really interests me. So what I can do is I can click on champion, I can view it. I can get a better look of how it might appear on my website. And then if I wanted to, I could select that view by clicking on it, and then I could save it. Okay. And when you save, you simply go over to your website and hit the refresh button, and it will immediately refresh the look of your site to whatever view you've chosen. Okay. You have the ability to expand into even more options. I think the ones that were available, I remember Hero. I'm trying to think of which other ones were available when I started, but you do have the ability to look at even more options in the marketplace. But again, that's if you want to add an expense, which I don't think is necessary. You also have the ability to change colors. So if you're doing things specific to your business and you follow a certain color scheme, there's a tremendous, it's like a Crayola box of options that you can choose from here. And you simply click on the option. And again, like let's say I'm in deep blue. That's my preferred, but let's say I wanted to go, let's go with turquoise, just so you can appreciate the difference, and save it. If I head back over to my site and refresh it, you'll see the difference going from deep blue to turquoise. I didn't save it. There we go. Maybe it's not drastic enough. So, and it's sometimes too, what I have noticed, and it's probably good that I can even point it out to you. For the most part, it will be in real time that you'll see those changes reflected. But every once in a while, I do discover that the changes don't update with a simple click of the refresh. I don't think that's anything more than just dumb luck. Like I said, every once in a while. Sometimes the easy resolution to that is to just log out of kvCore and log back in, or close your browser and just reopen it. Okay. But the idea is that you can play around with this very simply by going through those different color schemes and trying different things to find the color combination that you like. Next, in terms of your homepage, if we go back and look at mine, this pumpkin photo in the background is a custom photo that I chose to upload. There are a number of, dozens of photos that you can choose from that are preloaded here as your background image on your homepage. but you do also have the ability to upload your own photo, which you can do if you scroll down a little further here. Upload your own background. If you want to be adventurous and upload a photo, maybe if you have a picture of yourself with, your animals, or maybe, and think about your business again too. So maybe if you are a pet lover and want to sort of convey that as part of your personality as a real estate agent, maybe a picture with you and your pets might be an appropriate background. If you work a lot with military families, then maybe either a home with American flags or a picture, a Veterans Day picture might be something that makes sense for you and your business where you're trying to position your niche. So you can certainly upload a background image yourself. The one thing that I would tell you is that you do want to try to get a picture that's 1600 by 650 in terms of pixels. If you don't, then sometimes if you upload a photo outside of that range, so again, it's 1600 by 650. If you upload something outside of that range, sometimes when you try to look at it on your website, it'll look stretched and like somebody took a piece of chewing gum and, stretched the heck out of it. The interesting thing that I'll just point out while I'm here, because I do custom pictures, is I chose the correct pixel category, the 1600 by 650 for the pumpkin picture. And in the background on my settings, it looks stretched like a piece of bubble gum, but it looks perfectly fine and normal when it's viewed on my website. So don't be panicked if you upload your photo or picture here and it looks a little bit distorted. Okay. As long as you stick to the 1600 by 650. And the way that you would do it is you would just literally just click into this box. It'll take you to your, either your downloads folder, or you can navigate to another folder on your local computer, upload the image, and then just make sure once you've uploaded the image, there's a save button you want to save. Okay. If you use an alternate logo, so in this case, I have the eXp Realty logo. If you use an alternate logo, maybe a team logo, just make sure it's compliant. I'm not going to address compliance here, but make sure that it is brand compliant and also state compliant for eXp Realty. But you can upload that image here. Ideally, it's going to be about 500 by 500. Actually, to be specific, 512 by 512. Again, if you follow that pixel range, it'll translate well and it won't look stretched or distorted on your website. Okay? So those are some of the things that you can do to customize and personalize and give that sort of flavor for your own site. Now let's talk about what happens on your website, these tabs up in the top. Maybe you don't want all of these tabs to be functional. You have the ability here from website settings to turn those resources on or off simply by toggling these tabs on or off. Okay. And I'll show you a little bit more about that as we move down this list. One thing that I want to point out that I think is really important as you're moving down this list, and again, I'm on website settings. As you move down the list, you'll see here force lead registration. Okay. You have the ability to tell the system if you have a new visitor to your website, if you have somebody who's looking to start a new search, somebody who's looking to get a home evaluation, you have the ability to tell kvCore at what point do you want me to collect this person's registration information, or I take them further, either into their search or into their request. Okay. Right now it's set to normal, which is after one property view. So as soon as they view their first property, before they can click to the second one, they're going to have to enter their contact information. You can completely turn that off, so it doesn't require any registration at all. I would never recommend that. The whole point of a CRM is to not only keep you in touch with your current clients, but to bring in new ones as well. You can also require it right off the bat, so that you can require registration after a specific number of views. So maybe you want to let them look at 2 properties or 3 properties or immediately. You have the ability to set all that. Just make sure that you are doing something to collect visitors' information. Okay, that's important. You have the ability to, in addition to your tagline up here, right below my name, you have the ability to set this, I guess I would describe it as almost like a marquee banner of what you want to say. Again, something relevant to the flavor of your page. So if it has to do with veterans, if it has to do with luxury home ownership, first-time home buyers, Spanish-speaking home buyers, you can put something here that's relevant to that messaging that you're trying to convey overall. And that's what you would do here under website title. Okay. Some of this information, there are a lot of fields under website settings that are sort of either irrelevant, that you just don't want to touch, or they're what I would describe as maybe not for beginners and are sort of next level that I would just say leave alone. Okay. Recruit text and the header code are two places that I'm going to tell you to leave alone. Same thing with custom body and custom footer code. Those are kind of next level things. So if you had a specific need that you had to leverage those, we could talk about those offline, but generally I wouldn't cover them here. It would kind of be information overload. Next is conversion code. Same thing here. Don't touch it. You don't want to, for me personally, there have been times where we've leveraged the Making It Rain platform for lead generation. This code that you see here on mine currently has to do with the code for how those leads are pulling in from a Google ad. So to get from a Google ad to click to a kvCore to become an incoming new lead, that's what this code, this conversion code, is designed to effectuate. Okay. Don't want to touch it. That's for somebody who's good at coding. There is another section here for custom chat widget. I'm going to create a separate 10-minute video on how to do this because this is next level, but some agents really like to be able to do it. But I wouldn't consider it a basic skill. It's slightly more complicated. But if you look at my webpage, you're going to see this little blue chat button in the bottom right-hand corner. This gives the consumer the ability to initiate a chat with me right away through Facebook Messenger. There are a couple of things that you have to do to coordinate back and forth between Facebook and kvCore to get this code here. That's why I think it's worth just a separate video, and we'll post that to the YouTube channel. But it's good for you to know that opportunity, that option and functionality does exist. Okay. Again, there are quite a few fields here where we're just going to, in my recommendation, leave some things alone. For compliance, we have to have the phone number and broker's email address available on our website. So you should see those fields preloaded and already set up. You also have the ability to connect your Zillow account, if you have a Zillow profile, to your kvCore website. And you can either turn this on or off simply by toggling on this button right here. Mine is clicked on to hide Zillow reviews because I have a slightly different account. I'm a team account, and I didn't want the team leads to funnel to my account. I wanted the team testimonials to funnel to the team members' accounts. Okay, so it's a little bit different for me. The one thing that you want to make sure of, if you are flowing your Zillow reviews and your Zillow profile to your kvCore website, make sure that this is turned off, right? So it's not hidden. And also make sure that your information is here in the Connect Zillow Reviews box. Going back to my original experience when I activated my account, for some reason, there was an agent's name that was populated here as a default. That wasn't me. So, and their testimonials were appearing on my website. So you want to make sure that this is you and your profile. Okay, so your email address. Child testimonials will only apply with team sites, so you don't have to worry about that. And this is where, when you come down to template, where you can turn on or off some of the features that we're seeing on the sort of standard deliverable website. Okay. So you could play around with any of these. I really, for my purposes, don't think that turning some of these things on or off have a major impact on what I'm looking to do with my website. But the important thing I think to know here with templates is that you won't break anything. You can easily turn it on or off, hide it, toggle it on or off, and just make the updates. Okay. You also, if instead of a picture here on your website, you wanted to use a video, you could do that. It would have to first be uploaded to a YouTube channel that you have, but you could embed a video in the background. Originally, about 2.5 to 3 years ago, I don't think that this was maybe as robust. Some agents would sometimes complain about how that video played in the background with quality, but I think they've made a lot of improvements. But if that's something that interests you, you can absolutely do that just by taking the video link that YouTube provides and dropping and saving it here. Okay. If you continue to scroll down, so again, we're still working in website settings. The next thing that you can do, and keep in mind, think a lot about what your niche is in real estate. You can change the labels on your homepage. So if you don't like being as basic as search, sell, finance, for example, you can change any of those labels here under custom navigation. So maybe search might be find your forever home. Maybe sell might be, sell your luxury listing. Finance, you could change any of them, work with a mortgage partner if you wanted to be a little bit more descriptive. If you wanted to lean in, like I said, to the things that are significant to your business, maybe you speak another language and you think that it would be helpful to have the labels for each of these sections in another language. You can do that as well. It's really up to you and how you, again, want your page to look. You have the ability to do that with all of those labels that you saw up at the top right-hand corner of your homepage. Everybody does also get a hiring link. So you can take this link if you had an interest in agent attraction or inviting other agents to come and talk to you about EXP. You could take this link and utilize it, again, in an email, on a text message, on a social media post. It's under hiring link. Otherwise, it just sort of sits in the background. It's not an easy thing to find on your website. It's actually going to be under more and join EXP Realty. Okay. And then the last thing I'll just mention before we get into some of these other custom options is that you'll see here under the resources tab, this is where I have my Discover Burlington County dropdown. And I'm going to show you how to create one of those for whatever county that you might be interested in when we navigate to another section of our training. Okay. So let's take a look at, let's see, we were at custom pages. Let's take a look at listing carousels. If we continue down this really long list under website settings, the next section that you can choose are those 3 carousels in any order. All you have to do is choose from the drop down to identify whether you want to do your specific listings, any just listed, and these would be just listed that are available through MLS feed, just reduced. And you can even get a little bit custom if you wanted to identify a specific area. But you can simply select from the drop down, make sure that you're saving any changes, and then refresh your site to see how those things load on your page. If, for example, you work with a lot of investors, or maybe you work with a lot of first-time home buyers, what that first carousel reflects could be directly tied back to, investors may want to see just reduced. First-time home buyers might want to go, do open house tours every weekend. So maybe you're directing them to your site to take a look at what's coming up that weekend. Okay. So there's some things that you can do there that, again, tie back to your niche. Analytics, that's something that you don't want to touch. At least in my recommendation, that's at least a level 2, maybe more. And continuing to go through, you can, the agents tab is more going to have to do with somebody like me who's got a team platform in addition to an individual agent platform. So that won't really have an impact for you. And then if you scroll down here to listings, this is where we talked about making sure that you're adding the locations that you serve. This is the first place. Make sure that you're identifying every single county that you serve and posting it here. The other thing is the types of properties that you service. Make sure that every box, I wouldn't recommend limiting yourself here. Check every single box so that you'll handle everything from a condo to a luxury home to a farm. So check everything. There are a few other areas where if you really wanted to get into the weeds with the search functionality on your site, you can turn things on or off here. I just don't think that, again, those changes, toggling things on and off in that section really have a big impact on your site. The last thing that I'll mention, one of the things that I do like, and I played around quite a bit with this, with the search feature to make sure that it worked properly. I liked adding schools as filters in my search. And the way that I did that was I chose 3 rather than school district. School district did not work great, but when I clicked in this box and you just type in, I typed in high school, and then I typed in, whoops, if I could type it right. If I typed in high school, you type in elementary school, then you can find those in the list. And you can, once you find what you're looking for, you can add it. Okay. It doesn't have to be just schools. It can be, look at the extensive list of options that you have in terms of whether it's properties next to a golf course or the type of fuel. Maybe it's a farm, maybe it's a pool versus no pool that you wanted to add to the search functionality on your site. To show you how that translates, and what I liked about it is if I go over to my site and if I'm a consumer that clicks on search, I have the ability to go here into the search filters here, and down at the bottom, it's added those options for elementary, high school, or middle school. So let's say I only wanted to look at properties. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, let's say Lenape High School, which is a local high school in my district. Okay, so now it's only going to identify, and in that case, Lenape is Mount Laurel, so it's going to identify listings that are coming up in that school district. So I think for people where school is a big motivator, that's a great thing to add, and I would recommend doing something like that to your site. Again, if you are in the space of first-time home buyers, or if you're in the space of, say, luxury properties, for example, then maybe the added filters that you're going to add here relate specifically back to that category of home that you're, or client that you're looking to attract. Okay. So that sort of gets us through a lot of the options that you can turn on or off with your site. I think the most important thing that I can tell you as you watch this video and give some of these things a try is that it's as easy as toggling something on or off. And see, now my turquoise has taken hold. Sometimes it takes a few refreshes. So remember, I chose turquoise as my color scheme, and now it's showing up here after a couple of refreshes. Okay. But if I don't like it, I can just go try another one, or I can go back to my deep blue. So again, you're not going to break anything. You're not going to shut down the system or shut down your website. Just find something that, a look and feel that you enjoy. Okay. From there, I just want to take a few minutes as you play around with your site to tell you how you can go and build out those custom pages. At a minimum, what I've done here and just sort of helping consumers learn more about the county that I service. This is super simple to do. Some of the other examples that I gave, that if you were trying to create a drop down of all sort of luxury materials and resources, or veterans materials and resources, they might get a little bit more complicated, only because sometimes you might have links, sometimes you might have landing pages, which is level 2, level 3. Sometimes you might have attachments. So it'll change a little bit depending on what you're trying to accomplish. But what I've done here, all I'm doing is creating a bunch of custom pages that are links. Those links carry the consumer to learn more about those towns. So let's say you have a county that you're centered on, or a particular section of a county, maybe a cluster of towns that you'd like to highlight. So how would you go about creating this additional drop down, Discover Burlington County, and then all of the pieces underneath it? It's really simple. Let's say I'm going to show as an example. I'm going to pick Cherry Hill. Cherry Hill's not actually in Burlington County. Cherry Hill's in Camden County. So I'm going to show you how I might go about. Remember, you can do 2 custom drop downs. Burlington County is my one, but I still have an open one available. So I'm just going to take this URL for Cherry Hills Township site, and I'm going to copy it. And then I'm going to come back over here to my kvCore dashboard. And if you go into Web and IDX, if you look at this menu, we were sitting in website settings when we just went through all those sort of color schemes and toggling things on and off. But now we're going to go into website content. From website content, you want to look on the left-hand side to custom pages. Okay. When you click on custom pages, here you're going to see all of those links that I've already created, and they're all toggled to turn on. If I wanted to go ahead and add a new custom page, I not only want to make sure that I pull in my Discover Cherry Hill page, but I don't want it to click to tie to Burlington County. I want to have it tied to Camden County. So here's how we're going to do that. We're going to click on New Page, and it's going to pull up this entry page here with a bunch of fields. What you're going to do is you're going to give it a title. So in my case, I'm going to call it, I'm having trouble with my keyboard today, Discover Cherry Hill. Okay. And then in my category, notice if I use the drop down, right now the only drop down that you see is Discover Burlington County. I'm going to go ahead and create a new category, Discover Camden County. Like that. Okay. Now I'm going to sort of move below this open dialog box, go a little bit further, and you'll see this other box for URL. That's where I'm going to now paste the URL for Cherry Hill. Okay. Everything else, I'm just going to leave set the way it is. This sort of has to do with all the coding in the background. So I'm not going to do anything with these options fields, and I'm going to hit save. Okay, so now what it's done is it's added a page, Discover Cherry Hill. It's automatically toggled to on, and it's created a new category of custom column, if you will, Discover Camden County. So let's see how many refreshes it'll take for us to be able to see our Camden County site on my web page. So it's probably going to take at least 5 or 10 like the last time. But the idea here is that it will show up and kind of move some of these categories over to the left a little bit in order to create a new drop down for Discover Camden County. And then what I can do is I can just take whatever cluster of towns I want to concentrate on. I can continue to add new pages. I can name it. So if I wanted to do Discover Pennsauken, for example, in Camden County, or Voorhees, Discover Voorhees. And then in my drop down, I would just choose, now the category is there, Discover Camden County. Okay. Again, I think that's a super easy, quick thing that you can do for your website to add another level of functionality and resource without you having to do a lot of elbow or, like leg work yourself to get it up and running. That's a very easy thing to do. You can identify your towns, pull the links, and have this all set up in less than 15 minutes. Okay. So if you wanted to do it next level, if you wanted to bring in like the idea of having free resources, say for veterans, or having a luxury home selling guide, there are things that we'll be doing with landing pages and squeeze pages a little bit further down the road. that could be very useful here. But today is just to introduce you to those custom pages. The other thing that you can do from this same menu setting in your dashboard. So again, we're in website content. This is where you can go and plug in your testimonials. If you have Google testimonials, you can copy and paste them. You can also give clients your link to leave a testimonial directly on your website. You can simply come to the testimonials button on your site, take this URL, and collect testimonial data directly from the client that will then appear on your website. I know a lot of agents that really prefer to start with Google reviews if you have a Gmail account, and then they'll just copy and paste the testimonial here on the kvCore site. Okay. Reason being, if you think about ownership, just remember that ultimately your brokerage owns your kvCore account. You personally own your Gmail account. So I think that's where the difference lies, but you can certainly copy and paste your testimonials simply by clicking on this add testimonial button. And remember too, if you have the Zillow profile, that you can go ahead and link that Zillow profile with your email address right into your kvCore site. And those testimonials would all feed into that testimonial carousel on your homepage, which was here. And you'll see how you can click through to see different testimonials listed there. Okay. So again, those are a couple of, I think, really cool things that you can quickly and easily do to build out your page and give the consumer as much information about you as possible. Remember that in the world that we're in today, the consumer's typically going to do a whole lot of research online before the first phone call or conversation with you, definitely before the first in-person meeting. So you want to give them an opportunity to get to know you as much as possible through your online footprint. Okay. The other thing that you can do is blog. If you are interested in blogging or like to share information, and it doesn't have to be specifically about what's going on in the market. It could be about anything that you want to blog about. And blog can really play well into SEO, which is search engine optimization. SEO is definitely a level 2, level 3 conversation, but ultimately, in the most elementary way I can describe it, blogging can be a great way for the keywords in your blog post to give your overall website greater visibility. Okay. But if you wanted to create blogs, again, consistency is key. So if you can commit to one once a quarter, once a month, once a week, even if you did a daily blog, just be consistent in your frequency of posting. And you can simply, again, from your dashboard, go to website content, and then under website content, find blog here, the blog button. And then you simply click on add post. You give it a title. You can type your post here. Or what I usually like to do is I like to work outside of kvCore, like in Word or Google Docs, and create my content there. You could also use ChatGPT, right, as a great resource, and then copy and paste your content that you actually want to post once it's sort of in your final format, and you literally paste it here, and you can go ahead and publish it. And when you click publish, it'll show up on your website. Again, if we keep scrolling down towards the bottom below our bio, here's where your blog posts will show, and it'll show the last 2 posts. I think it'll show up to 4 posts right here at a time, and it'll be your either 2 or 4 most recent. Okay, so these are just, the goal today is not to make you, again, a code expert, but to help you understand that there are some really easy things that you can do to reinforce your brand with your kvCore site, something that you're already getting in your $85 a month fee with eXp Realty. So let it work for you. Okay, I'm just going to go in and change my turquoise back to deep blue. Let's see. Deep. And hit save. And of course, we know it's taking 5 to 10 minutes or so, it seems, for these sites. Whoop, now that one just came right away. So Again, some of the things that you do, you'll see change immediately. Other times it'll take a few refreshes. Don't think that you're doing anything wrong. It's still pretty close to real time. It's not like you have to do something and then wait 24 hours. It should never be like that. So if you're struggling a little bit to play with some of these things and experiment, then reach out to me directly as you're going through the training, as you're working on your profile, and we'll get that addressed because something probably isn't working the way it should. Okay. So again, hopefully you've gotten some things out of this and found a trick or two to enhance your website as we continue to work through all of these weekly trainings for kvCore. What we're looking to do is build from one week to the next. So having your profile done last week was super important before you could start doing some of these things on your website, right? Because you're going to go to your website and not see your profile picture or not see your tagline, if you will, if you didn't do the work from last week. So hopefully you'll put some of these ideas into place, maybe consider getting a lending partner. And then we're going to continue the conversation in the weeks to come. I think our next session is going to be about building your database. So what we're going to do next is talk about how to get your people organized in a way that makes sense to you, that you can start getting into regular communication with them, all through the automation of kvCore. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me as you try some of these things. And as always, you can go through your team leader as well, and we can get you that additional support. Give us about 24 hours, and this will be posted on the YouTube channel. And have fun customizing your website. Thank you so much. Have a great day.